For 4 years, the answer was always no. Last week, it quietly turned into yes. The headline says a spoiled prince reluctantly accepted a palace. But the receipts tell a calmer, sharper story. Look closely, and you start to wonder one simple thing. What if the frown is the costume? What if the reluctance is the packaging and the real deal underneath is a win? Stay with me. We are going to read the actual statement, not the mood music, not the dates, not the words, not the plan. Here is what this video will do. We will line up the dates, the official words, and the schedule. We will separate what the couple actually said from what anonymous insiders claimed they felt. And by the end, you will see why this looks less like a climb down and more like a quiet, careful win. No shouting, just the paper trail. Start with where they have been. In 2020, Harry and Meghan stepped back from royal life. They moved to California. They said they wanted to be financially independent. Since then, the story has had one constant theme: security. Harry has argued again and again that Britain is not safe enough for his family without police protection. That is the heart of the long fight. He took the government to court over it. He lost the main appeal, and he has kept saying in public that the threat to him has not gone away. Now, here is the part that matters for today. For years, the king had offered the family a place to stay on the royal estate. A palace source told CNN this had been on the table for any potential visit, and for years, the family said no. The offer sat there, unused, the door stayed open, and they did not walk through it. If you remember 1997, you remember why the word security lands so hard here. You remember a young boy and a public tragedy. So when this man says he fears for his family in public spaces, that fear is not invented. That part deserves to be taken seriously, whatever you think of the rest. But the rest is where it gets complicated, because while the security fight was real, it also became a brand, a grievance, a reason. Every cancelled trip, every missed family moment came wrapped in the same line. It was never safe enough. The royals would not help. The system failed them. That was the public posture for 4 long years. So what changed? The headline says he caved. The headline says he finally, reluctantly, accepted the crumbs. But before we accept that, we do the thing this channel always does. We read the actual words, and the actual words do not say palace. They do not say reluctant. They say something quieter, something that once you see it, you cannot unsee. Let us start with that statement. The couple's own representative confirmed the plan. They will stay across a mixture of both a royal residence and private accommodation. Read that again. A mixture, part royal property, part their own private place. That is not surrender. That is a split. Now compare that to the headline you saw. Reluctantly accepts Buckingham Palace. But the official statement never names Buckingham Palace. It never uses the word reluctant. So where did reluctant come from? It came from an anonymous insider quoted by one outlet describing how Harry supposedly feels. That is not a statement. That is mood music. And mood music is not a receipt. Here is why the split matters. When you stay only on royal property, you are a guest. You are inside their walls on their terms. But when you divide the stay, part royal, part private, you keep one foot outside. You take the security. You keep the independence. That is not a man being marched into a palace. That is a man negotiating a hybrid. And the next detail is the one most channels skipped entirely. Look at the dates. July 7th to July 11th. 5 days. Now look at what fills those 5 days. This is not a family holiday. It is a work schedule. There is a stop for well child marking 20 years of a nursing program he has long supported. There is a launch in Birmingham, 1 year to go until the 2027 Invictus Games. And there is a sit-down conversation in London at Chatham House. On policy, 3 public engagements, 1 charity milestone, 1 Invictus countdown. The palace stay is the logistics. The platform is the point. If you want the receipts other channels skip, the like button genuinely helps this reach more people who are tired of the cartoon version. So let us name the pattern, because this is where it gets familiar. The frown is the costume. We have seen this shape before. A moment of public sympathy or grievance, and then neatly attached to it, a platform activity, a launch, a milestone, a cause. The emotional story and the business story arrive in the same suitcase. The security grievance ran for 4 years, and it ran loudest whenever there was something to promote. Now it is being resolved just enough, just in time, for a 5-day platform trip with an Invictus countdown at its center. The timing is not random. The timing is the tell. And here is the receipt that breaks the reluctant story completely. The offer to stay on the royal estate was not new. A palace source confirmed it had been open for any potential visit for years. The family declined it, so nothing changed on the king's side. The offer was always there. What changed was their answer. Read that slowly. The door did not open last week. The door was always open. They simply chose, this time, to walk through it. You do not get marched through a door that has stood open for years. You walk through it when it finally suits you. And the security logic actually fits once you stop shouting. Harry had argued that central London landmarks could not be secured discreetly without police escorts. No gated edges, no safe perimeter. A royal residence solves exactly that problem. Gated, private, already secured, so accepting it is not a defeat. It is him getting the one thing he said he needed. The reluctant frame asks you to see a loss. The receipt shows a man who got his condition met. So why now? Because of the children. The official line says, Archie is 7, Lilibet is 5. They are coming to the UK for the first time, and they will not make a single public appearance. Their time stays private. As a parent, that is understandable. But notice what it also does. It keeps the most photographed cards completely off the table, while the adults run a full public schedule around them. And there is one more thread worth pulling. The security review, the one this whole standoff hinged on, is reportedly finished. But here is the strange part. Harry says he has not been told the outcome. Sit with that. The review that justified 6 months of waiting, the review behind 4 years of refusals is done. And the man at the center says he is still in the dark. Maybe that is true. Paperwork moves slowly, but it is also very convenient. An unresolved grievance is a renewable one. As long as the answer stays unclear, the story stays alive. As long as the story stays alive, it can be used again. There is a word for all of this. It is not reluctance. It is management. Every piece is placed. The security box is ticked. The independence is kept. The platform is built. The children stay protected and unseen. Reluctance is a feeling. A signed off, gated, scheduled 5-day platform trip is a plan. To be fair, let us give the other side its fairest hearing. Maybe the reluctance is genuine. Maybe Harry truly did not want to stay on royal property and only agreed because the clock ran out. That is possible. Anonymous sources are sometimes right, and the security fear is real. Whatever you think of the couple, a man who lost his mother to a public tragedy has reason to worry about public spaces. That is not a pose. The counter-argument would also say this: not every trip is a scheme. Sometimes a charity anniversary is just a charity anniversary. Sometimes a father simply wants to bring his children to see where he is from. Maybe the warmth is real and the hope of a thaw is honest. We should hold space for that. A fair look does not mean assuming the worst at every turn. It means reading the words, weighing both stories, and being honest about what we cannot know. We cannot read his mind. We can only read the record. So here is where I will leave it, because the honest answer is that this story is not finished. The trip has not happened yet. The security outcome is still supposedly unconfirmed. The thaw is still just a hope, so I will not hand you a tidy bow. Instead, let me sharpen the question, because the question is the whole game. Everyone is asking, did Harry cave? That is the wrong question. The right question is this: if a man waits 4 years, keeps a grievance burning, then accepts a long-standing offer at the exact moment it powers a 5-day platform trip, is that reluctance or is that timing? Those two words point in opposite directions. Reluctance means he lost. Timing means he won. And the frown is the costume either way. So keep one number in your head: 5 days. 5 days of charity stops, a sports countdown, and a policy panel built around a stay he spent 4 years refusing. If this were really about coming home, it would not need a press schedule. Homecomings do not come with a launch event attached. This one does. That does not make him a villain. It makes him a brand. And brands do not do anything by accident. So here is my question for you, and there are two honest answers. When Harry accepts an offer he refused for 4 years, right as it lines up with an Invictus milestone, do you read that as a father finally feeling safe enough to come home? Or do you read it as careful timing around a platform moment? Tell me which one the receipts point to for you and why. And if you have watched this couple since the wedding in 2018, tell me the exact moment your own read on them changed. Put it below. I read everyone. Subscribe so you do not miss what this pattern does next.